neighborhood gamer Jin Candor. We're here in the den of the Jinn. The actual den. Yes, folks, we're here at the den. And all I'm gonna say is today we're gonna be talking about a subject that I felt like it was a very interesting subject. Um and when I say interesting, I mean kind of baffling in my personal opinion. So um before I go any further, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Hit that little bell icon to know when I'm putting out next vid. That way we can have a conversation, hopefully a good one. Remember, guys, I don't tolerate trolls. If you guys are trolls and try to give me shit, don't expect me to be kind. So, if you're going to be a troll on my channel, either expect to be blocked or expect to be blasted. So, fair warning. Anyway, today we're going to be probably into doing a game later today for you guys. That's not the only thing I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos. This one is going to be the first of today. I assume if I do correctly, I can do 3 videos for the rest of the day and a couple tomorrow, and that's going to be for my weekend. So you're going to be seeing a couple of videos. So I hope you guys enjoy them. Anyway, before there was a subject I was going to put out, and I got into it because I was watching a video on YouTube, and quite frankly, guys, I've been hearing a lot about this, and it kind of trips me up. And honestly, guys, the dating scene lately has gone so toxic. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm not just gonna be saying this for myself. I'm just noticing it more and more. A lot of people are giving shit about um, what kind of people are out in the dating scene. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the problem. Lately, the dating scene has gone so toxic that it is gotten to the point where it's not surprising that birth rates have declined. Um, because people just don't want to be with each other anymore, because of how either they're treated, it's just horrifying, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys don't believe me, let me put it this way. This is what happened to me, and this is just what happened to me. I don't know what happened to you guys. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you very much. um so what happened with me is I had a relationship for about 2 3 weeks, pretty much around Christmas time. And this girl was everything I always wanted. She was beautiful. She had an accent that was just, oh, it was so good. And I'm pretty sure I made references to her about, I gave her a nickname. Um, and mind you, I don't want to. There was a point where I was getting get to know her to the point where eventually she would have been on my channel, my videos. You would have seen her. We would have, but things didn't work out because it just didn't feel like everything was going well, right? At one point, we were going to meet up, and then ironically, there was a point where me and her were going to meet, and things just did not happen. She kept asking for gas money, things like that. And I'm like, okay, first of all, we haven't even met yet, and you're asking for this crap. That was my one of my biggest red flags. One of the second one is when she finally got here. I spent almost 150 just going out, seeing her. We spent a couple of hours together, and in those couple of hours, I knew this was not going to happen. I'm not going to mention her name because she's not worth it anymore. And if you're listening to this out there, well, good for you. I just don't feel like the culture of dating is at the point where if it gets worse, and it's hard to imagine it will, but it could, it's gotten to the point where I actually fear for our society if things get any worse for our. I mean, guys getting to the point where thinking that cheating is okay. It's gotten to the point where girls are thinking that it's okay to cheat because they deserve better. Mind you, yeah, you deserve awesome stuff, but remember, guys, it goes both ways. It really does. If the girl thinks that she deserves better, so does the guy. So don't automatically assume that you deserve everything and the guy does nothing. Same for you guys. Don't assume that you deserve everything in the world and the girl deserves nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing about relationships is it takes two. It takes two. Believe it or not, it does. And one has to be here, not one here, not one over here, not one over here, not one doing this. You're thinking, did it hurt? Anyway, uh, I'm just saying, guys, be careful out there. If you're going to go in a relationship, find that one person that treats you like you always, right? Tell me about it. Um, I'm putting out this video basically to tell you guys the best thing I can say is treat each other perfectly. Not really perfectly, sorry. That was a really bad word to say. Um, the best word I could say is treat each other as you wish to be treated yourselves. Yes, folks, I'm going to put out the golden rule because apparently in kindergarten we learned it, but we threw it away after first grade. No kidding. And I'm not kidding on that. We learned this rule in kindergarten, if not first grade, and then forgot it 2 days later. No kidding. It got to the point where if you want to go into a relationship of any kind of friendship, any relationship, partnership, or whatever, we don't treat each ourselves or others the way we want to be treated. I want a relationship where I feel like I am taken care of. At the same time, I would take care of her, but at the same time, she has to reciprocate, guys. I can't be. It can't be one or the other. It can't be me just doing everything and then she just sitting there, going, "Well, you get to have some of the," and I'm like, "Sweetheart, sweetheart, I could say the same thing." Mind you, with me, it's less compelling. But the point is, I hate when people think that being with you is the prize. No, the prize is not just being with you. Yes, it's a prize, but it is not the prize. And that is the part that's toxic. Is I was reading this video, I was listening to this video, and they were talking about a guy buying a like $1,100 ring, right? I'm like, dude, you go into debt with that shit, but hey, you do you, bud. You do you, boo. So he gets a $1,100 ring, all kinds of platinum band. I think it was like a half carat or a full carat or something like that. He buys it for her, and she has the fucking nerve to feel like she needs more. She apparently wants 3 carats, and it has to be fucking adamantium. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. Mind you, I'm being sarcastic when I said that. So the girl just basically said, if it isn't 20 grand or more, fuck that. I'm like, well, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, what makes you think that you're worth that much? And then he goes, was like, I was like, well, my friends, stop right there. When you are in a relationship and you base your happiness on things that your friends got, Like your friends basically got this, your friends got that, your friends got this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is envy, folks. The only kind of envy I have are are the girlfriends that some of the people I know have. Yes, it is envy, but the difference is I am not going to go out and sabotage their relationships because I feel that kind of envy. Yes, folks, I am envious because I'm single, but the difference is I am not going out and destroying the relationships because of this. Jaren, I do remember you, Jaren. Thank you for checking out my videos. Appreciate it. Thank you for, and I'm just telling you guys what I think about toxic relationships. Um, I just feel like we really need to basically come to Jesus moment at this point. No, I'm not religious. I'm just point. It's just a phrase that most people say to get to the point where we need to talk. We need to talk, guys. As a society, we really effed up. Um, Promoting this action, this feeling where we need to personify that. It, the worst part is it's gotten to the point where it's become a subculture where women basically compare. Nice. Hey, it'll help because again, relationships these days are garbage in the worst sense because A, they're toxic, B, they go nowhere and they basically make everything around you rot, and C, it just doesn't feel like you're connecting anymore. You're not connecting, you're just basically getting things what you want from the other person, and then once you get that, the thrill, the feeling of being with them just basically dissolves. It's kind of the point where it's like when you go when you get something for Christmas, right? You've always wanted to get the thing for Christmas, and that's the thing about relationships. When you finally get that person, and then all of a sudden you have days where like, meh, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want the person. You just wanted the idea of having that person in your life, and then once you finally have them, yes, we're talking about relationships right now. I'm just saying, I just feel like we as a society need to stop personifying what you can get out of a relationship and personify what the relationship truly means. Because like I said, this relationship, I've I've been in relationships where it was only one sided. I was the only one that was participating. I bought her gifts. I bought lunch, whatever. I even bought food a few times, and she automatically assumed that I was going to do it because I was working, and apparently she wasn't, and it was coming out of my bank account. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I could barely afford shit for myself, but I had to um, go random. I had to do things for her that I wouldn't normally do. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't mind doing that if it was reciprocated, but it never felt like it was. It just felt like, well, what can I get out of this sucker? Hmm. I think I got enough, so I don't know if I want him anymore. And let's just face it, guys. Some of these people actually try to pull the old love bombing thing. You know what I'm talking about, love bombing. When you go into a relationship and you give this person everything they want, all the adulation. Oh, you're handsome. Oh, you're sexy. Oh, you're super smart. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it feels good until you realize it's not what you think. They don't really mean what they're saying. They only saying it so they can get something out of you. And be careful with that because there are some really effed up people that do it. I feel bad for it, but that's just how life is. It really is. It's just really, really bad. So, um, my takeaway, guys, there's three things that you really should learn in a relationship, and it will make a relationship all the better and all the sweeter and all the worth it. And eventually, it might even turn into something like an actual long lasting marriage, which is, by the way, another thing that is irritating. See, that's what I'm saying. The fact that your parents are telling you that you need to find a family and a guy that would pay for everything. See, now that is toxic, guys. That is a very toxic trait. The fact that the because the problem is we're still going into the aspect of the 1950s where the man has to pay for everything because the man has is the only one that can work. Ladies and gentlemen, both sides can work. We've been able to do that since the 1940s. But because everybody wants to be, special, you're trying to do. Look, don't get me wrong. If you and your couple, if you're in a couple, if you're in a relationship and you as a relate in this relationship think that um in your relationship that you think that one person can handle everything, and they have the ability to do so, well, good for you. That's your relationship. But here's the thing. Remember, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Look, again, if your relationship works that way, hey, awesome. But remember, there's a fine line between that one person doing all the chores and the other person doing all getting all the money. You have to realize that there's supposed to be a correlation where both sides can meet and be equal. They have to be equal, otherwise the relationship can't work. I mean, why would you want to be with someone that you're basically the dominant one? Ladies and gentlemen, it's one thing if it's a sex quirk, guys, because again, let's just face it, some of these people do this shit because it's a power play. It's how they feel dominant. Guys, I don't feel I don't like the idea of dominancy. I really don't, because it cheapens the humanity. Personally, that's just me. Because I feel like if you're in a relationship, both sides have the right to feel that way. Both sides deserve the raw animosity when you're together. It's like one guy, the guy can just push the girl to the wall and smother her, and then the girl can finally have some power and just push the guy onto the bed. Guys, all I'm saying, I'm not trying to tell you this just as sexual. I'm just trying to make a point that relationships have to be a tete-a-tete. You know, it has to be like this, because if it's like this or like this, just it doesn't work. People say it does, but it doesn't. I agree. Again, I don't mind if your relationship has a weird mechanic, because sometimes it does and it works. That's awesome. But remember, there's a fine line between the man being the money grubber or the money maker, and of course the same thing for the woman. If the woman is the money maker, right? Awesome. You as a man, it doesn't mean that you're less of a man. It just means that your relationship is different, quirky. You was Let me put it this way, guys. If one person is the money maker in the whole relationship, it doesn't hurt that you can reciprocate by, I don't know, doing some dishes or cleaning the house or something. And Again, this is just, I'm not saying this from the 1950s aspect. If it works for you guys, awesome. But remember, there's a reason why a lot of time, most of the time, it did work because the couple had an equilibrium. They had an understanding. Not had nothing to do with the fact that there was a gender rule. It would, and yes, that was technically a gender rule, but the difference was they knew what they were getting themselves into. The woman had the ability to basically tell the guy to fuck off, but the fact that the girl got into this relationship knew that there was some kind of role both of them was going to take. Whether the girl is going to work or work at home, it doesn't mean that the girl was any less or more dominant. It just meant that they had a system going so they can keep their lives going and still be in love. Oh, I know what you're talking about. And Maui, really? I look like Maui. I don't feel like I'm big as rock. Man, come on. I'm. By the way, you're thinking of. I know you're talking about Moana. Moana. And no, I wasn't going for the Maui look. Plus, I don't do tattoos. I'm as fresh as a daisy. And most of those tattoos were basically, in a lot of cultures, those tattoos basically depicted their um, actions in life, their accomplishments, their triumphs, sometimes even their failures. If it was so bad that there is even a point where the tattoos were removed somehow, don't ask me how, um, because of some kind of disgrace, and that was the concept of what Maui's tattoos were. And again, it was based off of I don't even know if it was their specific um, culture, and I'm pretty sure that it was meant to be. Anyway, um, thank you for checking out my videos, guys. I've been I was this one was ran a little long. I'm gonna be resting a little bit before I get into it, but thank you for checking out my videos. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy the video and take my advice to heart. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Remember that a relationship is a two-way street of any kind, whether it's partnership or it was like I said, any kind of partnership, whether it's business or personal. All those you just all it is all about is respect. You have to respect each other enough where you can work and be together in the same room. Trust me, because if that little key doesn't work, guys, it the relationship does not work at all. One, you're going to be mistrustful. You're going to feel like you've been had every minute of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wouldn't recommend it. Trust me. I don't feel comfortable with. You wouldn't feel comfortable if you were in a relationship with someone and you couldn't trust them. Yes, but don't worry, there will be more. Either it's going to be me playing a game, and you can check out my game videos, um, or I am going to be trying to do another video later today. I just got to look up something else that we can talk about aside from this. Um, but if you have any ideas, feel free to tell me in the comments, and I can give it a shot and see what happens. I don't mind because I would love to talk to you guys about anything that I have the ability to. Again, I might even play some Pokemon if you guys love Pokemon. I'm gonna be consider doing some either Legend ZA or even just the regular Legends. if you guys want to see that. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next. And it will be a next one today. I'll see you guys there. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, put it in the comments. And again, I will read them and address them in the next video. Take care, guys. This is your friendly neighborhood gamer Djinn Candor, signing off.